Well. Welcome to the BCV channel. I am your host, Pastor Saiko Woods, 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 Pastor Saiko, Pastor Saiko Woods, Pastor Saiko Woods, Pastor Saiko, Pastor Saiko Woods, Pastor Saiko Woods. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. I really am not. I really am not, y'all. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Y'all think that I don't have a personal axe to grind. I don't thrive on mess or confusion. Not personal. I don't have an axe to grind with Corey Minor. Now, interestingly, Corey was on Alton.
You had no interest in reaching out to me before I had Corey on my channel? So why you got all of this interest in me now?
My reaction to Brother Corey Minor is not personal. This is not personal. Corey flip-flops. Corey Minor. I have decided to put Corey Minor with the mob. But Corey Minor, in Corey's video, but Corey says, Corey gives his testimony regarding his prison history. As you heard what Corey said, yeah, Corey, you were getting what you deserve. No, and I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. I really am. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. Why would Corey flip? Who's harassing Corey? See, again, you're not nobody harassed you. What I want to do is show you again, the hypocrisy, the intentional manipulation of Corey Minor. And I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. I really am. AI is smarter than Christian. Is a smarter Christian than Corey. Corey did not get a bum rap. Based on the evidence, based on the facts, he was not vindicated. Emerald, you said if you aren't obligated to respond, why is Corey? Because it's not a minor issue, and it is not a minor issue. Some of you may even think, okay, why is he beating a dead horse? I'm not beating a dead horse. I am not. I really am not. The majority of my life has always been battling church folk. It has never really been with the world. It's been with so-called Christians, church folk. Yeah, church folk.
Hey guys, I'm back. We're doing another Saiko video, surprise. Now the reason why I am doing another Saiko video is because I think it's really important to show people that may come across his live streams and his videos to know that that's not what a real pastor looks like. And they need to see that, and they need to see it in a way that will make sense to them. Because if you just leave it up to Saiko and you don't hear an opposing argument, then it's easier for them to be susceptible to his nonsense. And so I really want to put a whole lot of information out there so that people, hey, they can decide. If you want to stay with his nonsense, fine. But at least you'll know that that's not normal. And it's not normal. Saiko has almost 100 hours of Corey, of exposing Corey. That's a lot of hours. Almost 100 hours. That's obsession. That is revenge. That's what this whole thing is about. It's not about MacArthur and about Julie Royce. It's about revenge. Because Corey came out from under Saiko's control. Now, I'm not saying that, Corey himself was in control, because I'm sure that he would say, otherwise. But in Saiko's mind, Saiko was putting Corey as someone that he was kind of controlling. He was like his wingman who would go to lives with him, always supporting him. Like Reamer and Dan always shows up every time he needs to have that little support, his little yes man. And I'm not calling Corey that because I don't know Corey. I don't know his character. I am not subscribed to his channel. I don't watch his content. So I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer. And this is not about me defending Corey. This is about me trying to make a point that this is beyond obsession. It's very unhealthy. And like I said, I don't want people to come across Saiko's video and think that that is normal. It's not normal. So that's why I'm making these videos. This is also not about defending the mob. I don't know them either. I'm only subscribed to TGOT's channel. And they don't need me defending them anyway. They do a great job on their own. They don't need me for that. However, I am going to make mention about them because it ties into showing a history and a track record of everything that he's been doing. So it kind of helps build my case against Saiko. And I really want to, really want to highlight it. And I'm not saying that Saiko can't make videos about Corey Minor. It's just repetitive over and over and over and over again. And he keeps to the same talking points. He's not vindicated. He's not paying those people back. He's lying to everybody. And what was the other talking point he's always saying? He's not vindicated. He's got clemency. And he lied about paying people back. But okay, you've already said that. You said that and you've made almost 50 plus videos, somewhere around that range. Because he's talked about it on other people's channels. So I know that there's videos out there that's not on his channel, but on other people's channels. So that's why I'm kind of making that guesstimation. But I hope you guys watch this to the end, so that you guys who are a fan of Saiko and do support him, I hope that you guys will watch it and kind of consider it. Now, I know you diehard fans aren't going to agree with anything. Who we got there? Dad, I got a video coming out about you, bruh. You ain't gonna like it. You're not gonna like it, but it is coming. Then you got Saturn something. I call her his auntie. And you got Taz, and what was the other guy, Richard or something with an R. Anyway, I know you guys aren't going to flip, but hopefully Saiko got some people that are still open to hearing the truth. So this next clip I am going to show is just to kind of give a take from a diagnosed narcissist on revenge, because this is not about revenging, this is not about Julie Royce or MacArthur. This is about getting revenge on Corey, because Corey flipped. And that has really bothered Saiko. I mean, it has welled up inside of him so much. That's why he can't stop repeating himself over and over and over and over again. He can't stop it because he cannot understand the loss of control that he had of Saiko over Corey. And he wants to totally destroy Corey. And now, I don't know Corey's character, and I don't know if he's right or wrong about his testimony. And let's just say, for sake of argument, that Saiko is 100% correct on Corey. That still is not a reason for you to constantly talk about him, especially when your goal is to only destroy him. You put the videos out about him a reasonable amount, and then you move on. But see, Saiko can't move on because he's a narcissist, and narcissists don't like to feel like they've lost. So I'm going to get into that a little bit. So hopefully you guys all hang in there. So let's get started.
But yes, y'all, narcissistic people will seek vengeance. vengeance shall be mine. Vengeance. That's one thing that I felt, I don't know, I always want to seek vengeance on people, y'all. It's just, and one of the main reasons that narcissistic people tend to seek vengeance on people who have hurt them is because you've hurt them. Like, the shame inside a narcissist will almost never let it go. It's like, it's so hard to let that go. It's just like, I still want revenge on people who've done me wrong in 3rd grade, 5th grade. I'm 38 years old. You know what I mean? I'll be 39 in July. And that's one of the things, like, I still hold grudges. I've worked better because I've been in psychotherapy for 6 years, but I hold grudges. It's like the inner voice, my inner shame always brings it up. It always tells, like, the shame inside of me, the voice inside of me is always telling me how I could have handled the situation better to get vengeance, or to how I could have hurt somebody else that hurt me. Remember this person called you ugly 20, 30 years ago? It's time to show them that you're not ugly anymore. You know, it's time. It's time to reveal you. It's time for the great reveal. You've had 30 years to work on yourself. Like, they want to seek vengeance on you because their inner voice of a narcissist is just telling them to, like, I need to hurt you back because you hurt me. I cannot let this go. I can't move on with my life until I've sought vengeance on you, until I've hurt you the way you've hurt me. And this is the crazy part about it, y'all. You can hurt them by holding them accountable. You hear what I said? You can hurt them by leaving them, no matter why you're leaving. They want to hurt you. They want to seek vengeance. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. They'll try to get you fired from your job. They'll try to divulge all your secrets. If you told them anything in confidence, it's going. You might as well got on put everybody in the group text messages and told them, because now they're going to tell everybody, if you don't answer the phone, I'm going to tell your mom what you said about her. If you don't answer the phone, I'm going to call your boss and play the recording and when you said you stole from work. You see what I'm saying? They're going to try to ruin your life because you hurt their feelings by cutting them off. But that's what happens, y'all. That's what's going on and whatnot. So I just feel like they will always seek vengeance. And how they seek vengeance, there's limitless ways that they can seek vengeance, y'all. Whatever they think will hurt you, they will try to do. And some of them don't care how it affects them, y'all. You know, one of the terms I see you see a lot of the younger generation use nowadays, it's called crashing out. Some of them will absolutely crash out to hurt you. You know, some of them will absolutely crash out and destroy their own lives as long as it means hurting you.
See, that is so true. You know, I just want to tell you guys a really quick story because I want you guys to know I'm speaking from experience when it comes to narcissists. I was raised in a narcissist family. I was adopted into a narcissist family. And when I was younger, I was a very meek, shy child, and they talked to me however they wanted to. And I was a good kid. I'm not saying I was perfect. But anyway, real quick, my sister, who gave me crumbs of love and attention, I allowed her to control me. I would do whatever she wanted me to do. She was very bossy. Like I said, she was controlling. She treated me like an imbecile. But I went ahead and ignored all that because she did give me little pockets of goodness and love that I felt was love at the time. And I was so starving that I was willing to eat the little crumbs that she would give me. And I would ignore how she was treating me. She was always aggravated with me, always aggravated. Like I would say something, it would just get on her nerves. Every little thing about me got on her nerves. So anyway, when I got older, I got in my mid-20s, later 20s, I got tired of it. I got tired of her treating me like an imbecile and talking to me any kind of way. And I told her, I said, hey, look, I'm no longer going to have this type of relationship with you. If you can't treat me nice, you can't talk to me nice, you can't talk to me like, treat me like a human being, and you always want to, you know, be bossy and controlling and treat me like an imbecile, then hey, let's just part ways. You live your life, I'll live my life. And she could not take the fact that she no longer had that control over me. And I even asked her, you know, later because she started doing her revenge. But I asked her later, I said, you didn't start this behavior, this evil behavior towards me until you lost control. And she agreed. she agreed. I can't remember the specific words she said, but she said, yeah, it was a real adjustment not being able to tell you, you know, what to do or whatever. She said something like that. But once she realized she had no control, she put a wedge between me and her daughter. So I no longer had a good relationship with them. I had pockets of times I get to see them, but overall, she would not allow me to see them like that. She put a huge wedge between me and my daughter. She divulged all my private information that I would tell her, that I had told her in confidence. And she wanted to make sure every aspect of my life that she had some influence over, that she destroyed, because she wanted to punish me for how dare I get out of her control. And so she punished me for that. And so, you know, everything that I had left of that I thought was mine, she took away. And when I say mine, I mean like some love of relationships with people. She made sure she totally destroyed. So that's the same thing that Saiko does. If you dare disagree with Saiko or try to correct Saiko, you're going against him. In his mind, he's going to take complete revenge on you, because how dare you leave out of his cult. And yes, I said it, Saiko, cult. And I'm going to be touching on that in a later video, but I don't want to make this too long. But that's how they are. They will punish you for leaving out of their control. So this next video that I wanted to set up with you guys is to show Saiko's hypocrisy. And I want you to really listen to the things he says in this video. In this next video, he's going to tell you how social media is not church. Like, all bets are off when it comes to social media. We don't treat Facebook and YouTube like we would a brick building of a church. So the rules are not going to be the same, and they don't apply. But they don't apply only when it suits Saiko, of course. So I probably will be playing this clip often, so I'm sorry for the repetitiveness of it, but it's just to remind people of his hypocrisy. So social media is not church. So remember, Saiko said that.
The church is not social media. And this is a lot of what these content creators, quote unquote, Christian content creators, confuse. This is social media. Therefore, nobody is telling you or I to come and to gather under the church of Facebook or under the church of YouTube. No, this is social media. You make the conscious choice and willful decision to turn on your device and tune in and to watch whatever channel, whatever live stream you choose to do so. So there are no pastors on social media. Okay? None. This is not the church. This is social media. That is it. I'm not under your authority. You're not under mine. I am simply providing content, and you are simply choosing to listen to or not listen to it. And if you support it, you support it. If you don't, you don't. It is simple. That's the concept. That's the belief. So what happens if a person, what happens if a person does something that you don't like? You're going to try to apply Matthew 18? If a person sins on social media, what are you going to do? How do you excommunicate somebody on social media? Make that make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Now, at best, what you can do is you can report them to the church, to their local church if they're a part of one. But you're not accountable to me. I'm not accountable to you. Not in a ecclesiastical sense. No. This is to the local church. How do we know that? He says in verse 17, if he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. It is very simple, ladies and gentlemen.
This is another thing that I'm really getting tired of Saiko constantly repeating and saying, is that Corey Minor needs to cam up. And anybody else who supports Corey Minor needs to cam up with Saiko. You know, Saiko, no one has to cam up with you or with anybody else. Corey is not obligated to give a response. If he wants to stay silent, then he has the right to. That is his free will. And if people are not happy with that, then they can leave his channel and not be on the channel.
You've seen all of these different positions, right? And you would have to wonder, why hasn't our brother come out and given an explanation, provided his apologia to his change and switch up? I believe he owes the body of Christ, his viewers, his brothers and sisters, an explanation.
You have to literally be living under a rock not to know what's going on between you two. So, you need to stop trying to make another man camp up with you. And you may say, oh, well, everybody's being a coward. He's a coward. No, it's not the point of being a coward. It's that it is a character issue. And it is a behavioral issue. And nobody who wants to stay sane wants to cam up with you. You don't know how to talk to people. You constantly interrupt or overtalk them. You don't listen. You're always trying to justify and explain away or make excuses for things. You never take any accountability. You're controlling. And you think you're being very, I think you think you're a very cunning person, that you're not wise, but you are cunning. And I know you think you're cunning too. And it's not your place to tell somebody they need to cam up with you. You're not their dad.
You're not my dad!
Okay? You're not their dad. The only dad that you are to is Dan. That's your only child. And Reamer. Those are your kids, okay? Those are your kids, Reamer and Dan. Those are your kids, so worry about them, okay? Stop telling other people to cam up with you and then thinking that they're being cowards when really it's a character issue. And I really wish that you would take some time off of social media. Go do something with your wife. Go take a walk with her. Go sit on your porch. Go fishing. Go do something other than thinking about Corey Minor all day.
They make shirts. They have me characterized as a wolf. Michael Williams calls me Molech. Yeah, he says I'm Molech. Yes, I'm not saved, I'm an unbeliever, but none of these cowards, none of these clowns want to cam up. But they get mad and get offended when they're called out and called names based on their behavior. Yes, I'm going to call you an idiot if you are one. I'm going to call you crazy if you are acting such. I'm going to call you a fool if you are.
Now, Saiko's getting ready to read some scripture in reference to foolishness. And he's going to mention that you don't have to answer a fool and converse with a fool. So I want to flip that back on to you, Saiko. If someone thinks that you're being foolish or they think you're a fool, don't you think that they're going to not want to converse with you? Just like if you think someone's a fool and you don't want to converse with them, then you won't. And you will use that scripture to justify that decision. Now, obviously, you're not going to think you're a fool, and they're not going to think they're a fool. So it's just going to be a matter of opinions and feelings. So, having said that, once again, if someone doesn't want to cam up with you or talk to you about their sin, their past sin, I know you say it's present, but it is their decision not to converse with you. And you can't try to I see what your manipulation is. You try to poke at them at their manhood to try to make them feel small. And I think that is one of your the things that you do to try to get your way, to bend people, to manipulate them. So I see that. And I'm sure a lot of other people see that too. So having said that, you need to remember the things that you say and not be a hypocrite. And if someone tells you no, no means no. Okay? Let it go. Let it go. Give it to God. You know, Saiko, I can't imagine how you sleep at night. I bet you toss and turn. I bet you probably only sleep about 2 hours a night. I bet you don't sleep at all. And those demons in you are constantly gnawing at you. And yes, I said that you had demons, and I know you have demons, because only someone with a behavior such as yours is driven by a demonic force. And God is the only one to take the blinders off of your eyes. But you have got to want it. You have got to start examining yourself, Saiko Woods. Because I'm telling you, you are heading straight into hell. And I know you don't think that you are, but you are. And I know people may say, well, you can't judge a man in his destination if he's going to be saved or not. If Saiko doesn't repent, that's where he's going. Not because I say that's where he's going, but according to Scripture, a contentious man like that who exhibits zero fruit is not going to mosey on up into heaven. Saiko needs to repent.
I want to do this, and I'm going to share with you the scripture. And y'all know this. Y'all know this. Proverbs 26, 4 and 5, right? Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you will also be like him. Right? That's a command. It says don't answer fool. But then verse 5 says answer him. Question. We've talked about this before, have we not? When do you or when do we follow verse 4? And when should we follow verse 5? When should we answer fool? When should we not answer fool? And when should we answer fool? When should we be on our verse 4? And when should we be on our verse 5? You can apply both at the same time or depending on the situation. Just to say, just in general. It depends on the situation and it depends on the individual involved in the situation. Once you know someone is a fool, to stay away. Exactly. Yes, that is good too. Yes. But you got believers who's a fool, who can act a fool too. So it's not just spiritually, specific. No, it could be spiritually neutral. It could be an unbeliever or a believer. Because how many of us have dealt with Christians who pretty much will fit this?
You know what I think that has been going on with Saiko is, I think that when he broke the John MacArthur story, I think he was really expecting to get a lot of accolades, a lot of pat on the backs, a lot of praise. Like it was really going to elevate his status in the Christian community. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, Saiko, you broke a big story and you took a big dog down, because John MacArthur is very well known. And Saiko got that story, and he really thought his star was going to rise on up. And I don't think that he expected to get that type of backlash that he got. I really don't. I don't think he expected that. And so, and as a narcissist, they double down instead of, considering anything. Now, once again, I am not defending John MacArthur. I am not. This is not a defense on him. I don't know his character. I have not heard his side. I only heard the side of the Julie Royce and what Saiko has said, so I have not heard the other side, and that's biblical, Saiko. That's biblical. You hear both sides before you make a decision on things. And I haven't heard from John MacArthur. But either way, I'm not here to defend him. But I am just trying to tell you what I think Saiko has been thinking, what has been brewing inside of him. So then the mob turns on him. And like I said, I don't think he expected the mob to turn on him. And so Corey, he's the one who stuck around with Saiko and still, went on live streams and was agreeing with him with John MacArthur. But then at some point, as we all know, Corey flipped. And then that's what really took Saiko into out of orbit mad, because that was like the ultimate betrayal. It was embarrassing, and he can't have that. And so that's when the vindictiveness began. And so when he started digging up Corey's past, because why did he not dig up Corey's past until Corey flipped? Because Saiko knew about Corey. Corey and him even talked about his past being in jail, but Saiko never dug into his past then. It was only when he flipped. And let's just say for the sake of argument, let's say that Saiko did look into Corey's past when they were still cool. I don't think that Saiko would have called Corey out on it, but I do think he would have told Corey, between them two, like, hey, how come you didn't tell me everything about your jail things? I see there's some inconsistencies, man. Why didn't you tell me that? But don't worry, I ain't gonna tell nobody. I just, came across that information. I was just wondering. And I think he would have kept that in his little file cabinet. And then once Corey got out of line, then that's when, he would drop all the receipts on Corey. But I think he wouldn't have told on Corey if Corey would have stayed up under Saiko's control. So when Saiko did find Corey's information that maybe Corey hasn't been telling his testimony quite the way it happened, he thought the mob was gonna blackball Corey and turn their backs on him and not want anything to do with Corey. And he was going to lose all his subscribers. His channel was just going to totally tank. Corey was going to be canceled. That's what he thought when he had his State versus Corey Minor Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4 transcripts, that he had all those live streams. And when he saw that people were still platforming Corey, big channels were still platforming Corey. His numbers didn't change in terms of subs that much. And now, if you want to correct me, you can correct me, because I'm not part of Corey's channel, and I'm just going from what Saiko says and them going over his numbers and stuff like that. And so when he saw that he was still moving and he wasn't being canceled and the mob didn't cancel him, that infuriated Saiko. Saiko could not take that. And that's why he just keeps going in, trying to do whatever he can do to change that. And to get the mob and get the subscribers, get the people to turn on him. And that's why Saiko just cannot let that go. It's because nothing played out. Nothing played out the way Saiko thought it was going to play out, which was a big blow to Saiko, because it was embarrassing. His moves didn't work. And he wasn't getting the revenge that he wanted to get out of Corey's flipping. And when nothing is happening, he can't take it. It was like putting salt in the wound. And like I said, with big channels platforming Corey. That's why he's all over the place on everybody's live stream. Why are you platforming someone who supports John MacArthur like that and his history? He's not paying those people back. That's why he's all over the place in everybody's lives and sending out all his little flying monkeys, Dan and Reamer, to get all this information. It's because Saiko has not been able to come to terms that something did not work out the way that he planned it, and he cannot lose. And that is something that the narcissist has a problem getting over. The revenge, the vindictiveness, the payback, the suffering to destroy you. And when that doesn't happen the way they thought, they can't take it.
That I'm a hater. I'm trying to destroy his ministry. Well, yeah, I am. Yeah, I was trying to take it down. A lot of the time, people claim to be, they claim to support your ministry. They claim to support you. But when the block gets hot or when situations go awry, it's not necessarily, and you can't take it personal. That's number one. You can't take this stuff personal. You can't. If I were to take personal every time people flop on me, I would never do this. I would never do this. Been doing this for over 2 decades. And same script, just different characters, different players. So I don't take any of these things personal. It just reminds me that people are not built for this. And then at the same time, people will claim that they are loyal to you. That's what it really shows. The loyalty doesn't lie with the word. The loyalty lies with the individuals. Because if Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ, then that is the qualifier. And that should be the qualifier for any ministry or any believer. You only follow people insofar or as much as they are following Christ. And that's it. Corey, you're the same brother that would get on me or try to get on me for my video and my content, but then you laugh and you say that the content and the videos that the mob have made are funny. What's funny about lying on a fellow image bearer? And you know that they're lying. And they put up their little memes and all that kind of stuff. I'm just asking, what's so comical? Because I want to laugh. You don't believe that you owe a response or an answer to the things that you have said publicly. You just want us to shut up and go away, and you want to laugh at the mob making videos of people like me, because it don't bother me, because I already know that these are cowards. But you are siding with cowards, and you're laughing with cowards over videos that you think are funny. Okay, Corey. I know the mob is talking to you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on your channel. Otherwise, you wouldn't be greeting them and shouting them out. Just a year ago, they didn't want to be caught dead on your channel. Now, they're all in your chat. You can't recognize this game, my brother.
10 seconds later.
The only thing is, I don't have time for games. If I want to play games, I got a PS4. Yeah, not a 5. Just a 4.
Saiko, once again, no one owes you an answer or an explanation of their flopping, changing their mind. They don't owe you. Just like the mob doesn't owe you loyalty. And for you to think that Corey and the mob should be taking up for you in different places because you think they're slandering you, that just shows you how far your brain is. I'm sorry. It's delusional for you to think that you're going to get loyalty from them after you've dropped receipts, you told their business, you talked to them in an unkind way. And yes, I've seen a lot of your videos and live streams, and I see how you talk about the mob. And for you to think that they're going to take up for you when they see someone quote unquote slander you, that is crazy talk. Also, when someone has an opinion a judgment, a critique, criticism, they're allowed to have that. And you keep saying, oh, I'm built for this. I'm built for this. I haven't been doing this for this long unless I was built for it. No, you're not built for it. If you were built for it, Saiko, then you would be able to handle people's differences. You'd be able to handle their critiques of you. You'd be able to handle their personal feelings, their judgments, and things that they disagree with you on. And guess what, bro? Welcome to social media. You have a channel. You put yourself up on a public platform. But yet you only want the pats on the back type of support. But you can't handle anyone else saying anything opposing to you. And if someone has an opinion about your behavior or assumptions or judgments, then they're allowed because you do it. You're a hypocrite. I've watched so many of your videos. You do so much judgment, so much name calling, telling April that she is being used by the devil, but yet you get upset when you hear that your voice is being put to the devil, and you think, how come nobody's sticking up for me? Nobody's sticking up for me and saying anything. Bruh, stop your crying. That's all I hear from you is, no one's sticking up for me. Everyone's just slandering me, and no one's doing anything about it. No one's in the comment section doing anything about it. I'm gonna talk about your flying monkeys. I got so many videos I'm gonna be doing about you, Saiko. Whoo, it's a lot. All right, let's move on.
I didn't subpoena these people. I didn't summon these people. I haven't commanded these people to come on my channel. Never do. But on my channel is what God has called me to do and what I will continue to do. And you don't have to like it. What you're not going to do is do this.
You don't tell me what I talk about. You don't tell me what I talk about in my own house.
Flat out. Flat out. I'll just let Fred tell you.
So I wanted to do a reaction video on one of Saiko's live streams. He actually went to Alton Johnson's channel to have a live stream because he wanted to talk to Alton because Alton had platformed Corey about 2 years ago, I think. And so it has been bothering Saiko that Alton has platformed him. Anyway, so they got onto the live stream, and then as you can imagine, it really did not go as well as I think we all would have hoped, because when Saiko comes in to the live stream, he brings a certain type of energy. And that's what he does with every live stream he does that's kind of like a debate or controversial type of live stream. He has this energy. And I think his whole goal is to get people up into their emotions to where they're kind of out of their normal character, and it's easier to manipulate and get them to where he wants them. And I think sometimes that's what happens. And I think Alton wasn't prepared for Saiko, and he probably doesn't watch Saiko a lot to kind of know how he moves. But Alton made some really good points, and I'm going to bring that up later in the video because Saiko, for once, didn't have anything to say. And because there was so much talking, people probably missed that. And it's one of his narcissist dances I'm going to show y'all. But I feel like it didn't go as well as it could have, like I mentioned, because they kept talking over each other, and their emotions were high. And of course, Saiko is crying the whole time. But I'll let it play a little bit, and then I will interject and give my reaction to it. So I'm going to let Alton introduce Saiko, and then I will come back.
Somebody sent me this. All right. And they were just like, you need to go ahead and check this out. Saiko mentioned you in this video. And I was just like, all right, let me see what he's talking about. All right, let me go ahead and play this. Fair use.
And it's cool because, again, I'm all about body life. I'm all about body life. Alton Johnson got concerns about him as well, too. Because Alton Johnson was the individual who had Corey Minor on his broadcast about almost 2 years ago, give or take, I believe. And Corey was giving his testimony as he did also as well. And he mentioned about him stealing money and going to jail while being, a pastor. And Alton had stopped Corey in mid sentences. Oh, wait. You were a Christian at the time? And Corey's response was, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like no big deal. And you would have thought that there had been some kind of pushback. And even when I contacted Alton Johnson and shared my concerns about that, and said, hey, brother, let me ask you a question. When I saw your interview with Corey Minor, I noticed you didn't push back on that. You didn't even make a follow-up video or anything. That man told me he didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to get involved.
5 minutes later.
I deal with people according to what they do, not according to what you want me to do. Whatever lane God has called you to run your lane. Run your lane. Run your lane. Quit trying to run and tell other people how to run their lane. That's one thing you don't see me, by God's grace, doing. I don't tell another man or another woman, another brother, another sister how to move on God's track field, especially if we're on the same track team. Just don't run in my lane. Don't cause confusion. Stay in your lane, I'm going to stay in mine. And we both run the race together if we're on the same team. But far too many people want me to run their race, their way, and run everybody else's lane. And then when I don't do it, then it's a problem.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I have no personal axe to grind with these brothers, with these people. My concern is why are you tolerating and platforming or allowing Corey Minor to do stuff, but then y'all give him a pass and ignore it, and you go on his channel, moderate for him, support him, engage him as though he's not in sin. But you distance yourself from me.
In this next clip I'm going to show you, you're going to see how Alton is calling out Saiko for not being interested in talking to him until he platformed Corey. Now, from my understanding, Alton was the one that actually reached out to Saiko first because he wanted to chop it up on the live stream. And this is before all this went down. And he heard nothing but crickets back from Saiko. But once he platformed Corey, then it got flipped where Saiko kept trying to get Alton to talk about why he platformed Corey, and was accusing of Alton of running because Alton didn't want to discuss this publicly or at all. And he keeps telling Saiko that, but Saiko is so determined to, talk about this publicly about Corey. And I tell you what, Saiko, you are so annoying. Bruh, you are so incredibly annoying. Somebody's got to tell you that. You and Dan. Dan is annoying too. Oh my gosh, y'all are so annoying. Okay, sorry. I just had to add that. But they are. But anyway, you're going to see how Alton is going to call him out for it. And I just thought, like I said, I thought this was interesting. And I thought that it needed to be brought out to show the level of obsession that he has about Corey. And Saiko, you need to stop daydreaming about that man. It's not cute. It's not cute.
Hold on. Do you remember inviting me on your channel? Do you remember that?
When?
I just played the phone call. My goodness, you invited me on your channel.
When?
Pull up your videos, bro. You invited me on your channel. You invited me on your channel.
When we had that phone call, the one that we just played, right?
Yes.
Now remember, this is the second phone call. Now, The first phone call, you called me about the interview that I had with Corey. I'm talking about before I had the interview with Corey, because that's why you called me. Now, before I did the interview with Corey, you ain't never reached out to me and said, hey, man, yo, I want to come on your channel and chop it up. I have panel discussions. You didn't want to start showing up until I had Corey on my channel.
How would you know
so
that?
come on, bro.
Hold on. How would you know that? How would you know that? How would you know that?
How do I know that you didn't reach out to me?
How would you know that?
Because you didn't reach out to me, bro. That's what it is. You never reached out to me.
Hold on. Reach out to you about what? Reach out to you about what?
Exactly. Because
I'm asking you. Reach out to you about. I'm asking you.
Right.
Reach out to you about what?
Listen, Saiko, you didn't reach out to me about anything. You wasn't even asking me about French fries at McDonald's. You said nothing to me. You reached out. Hold on, bro.
Come on, dog. Listen, if we're gonna deal with the issue, let's deal with the issue. Okay?
I'm dealing with the issue right now.
I came on your channel.
Hold on, bro. Hold on, man.
Go ahead.
You had no interest in reaching out. Just keep it real. You had no interest in reaching out to me before I had Corey on my channel. So why you got all of this interest in me now after I didn't have the man on my channel? I knew nothing
about your channel at the time. Is that a problem?
No. You did. You did know about my channel.
When did I know about your channel?
Yeah, you did. I did a video. It was about Kirk Franklin, and you was in the comments.
When did I know about your channel?
All right, bro. Go.
I'm asking you, when did I know about your channel? And here's another thing. Even if I did reach out to you, what's the problem with me reaching out to another brother to deal with an issue that's public?
What makes you think that I owe you any time to come on my platform to talk about another grown man? That's what I want to know, because you saying that I'm running. So who are you to where I have to bring you on my channel to talk about something that I clearly say I don't want to be a part of?
Well, then you should not have people on your platform talking about.
I can have whoever I want on my platform.
And Alton, and there's the problem, because biblically,
no, it's not a problem. This is my platform. You don't tell me who I can and can't have on my platform.
You have no right, neither do I, to tell another man or tell another woman or another sister in Christ how they are to make content. You have no right, neither do I, to tell another man or tell another woman or another sister in Christ how they are to make content. Do you recall the conversation and the purpose that I had with the group call regarding Corey and regarding you platforming him and regarding you and regarding you having individuals on your channel slandering me, just like you have individuals that are moderators slandering me, and you've seen it.
No, hold on. Now you got people who done said stuff about me.
Like what?
Your conversation.
Like what?
Bro, in the thumbnail, there was a person, I circled it. It's in the thumbnail where
that's not my responsibility, brother. That's not my responsibility, brother.
Same here. That's not my responsibility.
No. If you have people slandering me and saying things that you know are not true, is it your biblical responsibility to deal with that on your channel? I didn't see a thumbnail.
Next, you're going to hear about Saiko whining to Alton about the mob and how they have been doing him dirty by taking his merchandise, making videos about him and slanderous stuff. And, you know, Saiko, I thought you were built for this, man. I thought you were tough. You know, you can't take people having, criticizing you. I thought you were built for this. You know, I'm a female. I'm a woman. I have an exposing type channel. All I get is criticism on my channel. And you know what? It's like this on me. You know why? Because I know I'm speaking the truth. I've had them call me ugly, call me Jezebel, and say I'm going to hell. I mean, I've had people say all kinds of stuff. Ask me if I care. Do you see me making video after video after video after video about all my criticizing comments? Do you ever hear me bash my subs for not supporting me? How come you guys are not replying to all of these criticizing comments about me? How come you guys aren't defending me? As a Christian, you should be defending me on every comment that they're speaking bad about me. No, I don't do why? Because I don't care. If they do, awesome. If my subs that are here for the right reasons for me, if they do, awesome. And I thank you guys for your support. But I'm not going to bash my subs for not on every little critique of a bad critique of comments. I'm not going to start being mad at them because they're not defending me on every single comment. You know why? Because I know I'm speaking the truth. I know the things that people that have said bad things about me aren't true. And it's just like this, bro. And you have the nerve to call women who don't agree with you silly women. Now, who's the one who's silly, bro? Who's the one who's silly? I've had people make videos on me. Well, they deleted it now. But I had one person call me a disgusting Jezebel. Did I cry about that? Did I make it? Oh my gosh, you guys, go over there and say something. He's saying I'm a disgusting, vile Jezebel. Oh my gosh. No. I was like, hey, talk about me, because it's going to drive everybody to my channel and so that they can see what the real truth is. So go ahead, make video after video after video about me so it'll drive people to my channel, because people are going to be curious and want to know what is being said. So, bruh, man up. Oh, get some strength. Go to the gym, work out.
I know, you know, there's I'll just say, use the words beef between Corey and I, but I'm open to answer any questions. I'm open to explain why I have gone hard the way I have during that time with Corey, April Chapman, Duo Christian. I mean, some of the people that are on your channel that are mods of yours, they have done either videos about me, have either made merchandise stealing my intellectual property, or either have went on public record calling me an unbeliever, a devil, and to be marked and avoided.
You want to know what my problem is?
Please tell me, because is it going to be biblical?
Because you done missed it. Because you missed it.
What did I miss, Alton?
Because when I ask you respectfully, hey man, I don't want to be a part of this. If you got a problem with Corey, keep that between you and Corey.
No.
But
It can't be that.
But you talking about now I'm involved.
You are.
So now
you are.
How?
Biblically, you
How?
are, bro. Because
How?
Ephesians 5:11 says that you are. Why don't you pull that up?
Bro, you're not a part of my church.
What?
That's concerning the church, bro.
You have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. You really have to be kidding me.
Yeah, so when other people deal with you...
So Ephesians 5:11 is only applied to local churches?
Okay, so hold on. So
is that what you're saying? Are you saying Ephesians 5:11 is only applicable for local churches? Is that what you're saying to me?
The next day.
This is not the church. This is social media. That is it. I'm not under your authority. You're not under mine. I am simply providing content, and you are simply choosing to listen to or not listen to it. And if you support it, you support it. If you don't, you don't. It is simple. That's the concept. That's the belief. You're not accountable to me. I'm not accountable to you.
So on this next clip, Alton and Saiko are getting ready to talk about a recorded phone call that they had. So Saiko reached out to Alton and said he wanted to have a telephone call with him and conversate about his concerns, and I guess also him wanting to have a live with him. Now the problem was when Saiko called Alton, he ambushed him by having his fanboys with him. I believe he had Dan and Reamer and whoever else came onto the call. So it was them versus Alton, and that was a blindside. And this is another reason why this is not a pastor. A pastor does not move like that. And Alton's getting ready to call him out for that, as he should. But this is the childish, deceptive, manipulative behavior of Saiko. I'm not surprised about it, but it is what it is. But I'm glad that Alton knows enough about Saiko to have recorded the phone call too. This is so strange to me. You know, I never think about recording people's phone calls. I really don't. It never comes to my mind to do that. And so it's like, wow, he's such a sneaky little snake. Saiko the snake. But yeah, so he ambushes him. So I'll let y'all see the clip and see how that all plays out.
Bro, my beef is that when you made that call, you didn't tell me beforehand that, hey man, I'm going to have some other brothers on. You made the call and then you brought the dudes on. That's what I'm saying. So I already felt some type of way about that.
Why? If you felt some kind of way about it, why did you stop the call? We was already 45 minutes into the call. You had no problem with it before, and they were engaging you. They were engaging. Right. You had no problem with it at all, Alton. Well,
what you want to play?
I'm asking. Do you want me to play some more, or what part you want to mention? Where you said I didn't know I was gonna be blindsided or something you had mentioned. And I said, no, brother. These men want to talk to you because they were involved and they have concerns and they wanted to share their perspective. Do you recall that?
Okay, so hold on. So you saying during the call, now you admit during the call that I said that I was blindsided, right?
You said I didn't know I was going to be blindsided. I said, no, brother, nobody's blindsided you.
Right, because you said that you wanted to have another call with me. And I said, all right, cool.
Yes, absolutely.
And you brought the other dudes on.
Wanted to chime in. They wanted to chime in.
So here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know how you operate, but I'm the type of person to where if I'm going to have a panel discussion with other people, I'm going to let you know first. I ain't just going to say, hey, man, I want to have a call with you and then have 4 or 5 other guys to talk to you about something else that I know that you probably don't even want to be involved with.
How would I know that? How would I know that?
Because I told you in the first call that I didn't want to be a part of whatever beef that you got.
What
recorded.
First call? You've had guests on your platform, okay? You even have moderators on your platform right now who have called me a cult leader. Sheila Mahone called me a cult leader.
And what I got to do about me?
Really? That's your mind, bro.
Yeah, but you had somebody in your comment section calling me a clown.
Who have I allowed? Who have I allowed? Who have I allowed to slander somebody?
Y'all see this.
Who have I allowed to slander somebody, bro? Tell me, please.
Let's bring it back up. Let's bring it back up.
Please.
I'm sitting back. I'm showing y'all clearly on the thumbnail. And this man's like, nah, ain't nobody ever slandered you or said anything about you.
On a thumbnail. Did I say that? Say, God bless you. I do.
Bro,
what?
It's the same thing. Did I say that?
Give it to me. Where, Alton? Man. Alton, where, Alton? I'm pleading with you. Where? Tell me where I have stated something or let somebody slander an individual and I didn't check it.
Am I a clown? Please. Yes or no?
Did I call you a clown?
Y'all, watch how Saiko asked Alton, did I say you were a clown? And then Alton responds, did I call you a cult leader? And then notice how Saiko said, well, you said I wasn't saved. What did that have anything to do with what was just said? See, Saiko didn't have anything to say in that moment. So he had to think of something random to say because Alton got him in that moment. And also when they were talking about, when Alton was talking about how the clown message was populated on the live stream and he was calling Saiko out for not correcting anyone by having the saying that Alton's a clown. My thing is, and you guys can correct me because I don't do live streams, but I thought that the person who's doing the live stream populates those comments for everybody to see. Like they'll choose a comment and then they'll pick one that they want everyone to see and they'll highlight it right there where Alton was talking about, where it says Alton's a clown. So Alton's trying to make a point that, hey, you didn't correct anybody else calling me out my name, but yet you want me to correct other people. So, oh my gosh, it's just so much hypocrisy with Saiko. And I hope people that watch that live stream with Alton and Saiko really sees the type of person that Saiko is. You can't have a decent conversation with him. You really can't. And I think Seiko's really frustrated because nobody serious is ever going to take Saiko serious. And I think that's another issue that he's having. I think he's having a lot of roadblocks because nobody wants to platform him. No one who wants to stay credible wants to platform Saiko. And I think Alton, I don't know why Alton gave him a chance, but you know, I ain't gonna say nothing. He has his reasons. So, but yeah, Saiko, you're so petty. You're so petty, bruh.
Hold on, did I call you a clown?
Listen, I got it circled in the thumbnail, bro.
Did I call you a clown? That's what I asked.
Okay, did I call you a cult leader?
You said I'm not staying. You said I'm not staying. You said I'm not staying.